We are going to talk about consensus methods in family support research. But first, we have a small dynamic to wake up a little because after the dessert and so on, it's difficult to get in activity. So, Cátia Martins from University of Algarve, Cristina Nunes, you already know us, and let's start.
Okay, so we are not asking you to move from the place, but online to go to another place. So I believe you all have your mobile phones. I don't know if you know this platform, Cool Everywhere. It's very nice. And you have two ways to enter. You can use the QR code, or otherwise you can just insert the link. Everything is okay? So, since our theme is consensus methods, our first question, of course, is what consensus methods do you know? Please try.
Then we need to, if it's supposed to appear here, this here first?
See?
No.
Saying,
No.
waiting for Cátia Martins' presentation to begin.
Okay. Yes.
Now I understand.
You have to open it.
Yes, I think like Mentimeter, you need to have the app. Yes, exactly. I think that you need to open in the web page.
Like when you take the question following
As you wish.
Okay, so tell me, the problem is with the lunch. My email went to lunch also.
Yeah.
It didn't come back, so no problem. They are very, very simple questions. But the problem is I cannot access through that computer to the presentation. So, but normally it works. So tell me, what type of consensus methods do you know? Delphi. I don't know why it's the system, but
Yeah.
Middle of it.
other type of method? Yes, a more participative method.
You mean methods to reach a consensus or methods about there is a consensus that there are
Methods.
Research methods to reach a consensus.
In qualitative studies, the consensual qualitative analysis.
Okay.
No, it's not something.
No.
I know Delphi.
So, but we have one very defined and well known. That's Delphi method.
Grupo de discusión, practice discussion focus group, or nominal group, I don't know.
Nominal group.
I don't know.
Focus group is different because we will speak about it in the session. Yes, tell me. You have a name for me, no?
No.
Just a smile. Okay, no problem. So, and what advantage do you believe this type of methods can have in our field? In research, in our field. What is the advantage of getting a consensus?
Equity participation between among all the participants. So give us the same power and the same role to reach consensus. Just establish us in the same level.
Okay. Okay, so allow us to participate, to give our opinion, our vision regarding a subject matter, and we have similar roles, similar, weights.
Separated from the for example, I could be a family and you can be an advisor, a policymaker, but with these methods, your opinion and my opinion is going to be at the same level. So we are going to have the same power and the same consideration.
Very good, very good. Yes. More advantage?
Yeah, I was thinking, I don't know if in the study by some others, it's more than the individual responses. So you create like a more joint response that it's more than just the individual responses. So,
A more collective one.
yeah.
Somehow eliminate the outliers or extreme answers.
Okay, we can eliminate extreme answers. Yes, because we are not focused on that extreme answers. We are focused on the common, on the agreement part. Okay.
It could create guidelines in the topic.
Yes, and can be very useful to develop guidelines, to develop orientations, to build questionnaires that are more adapt and more just to the visions of the several interveners in the group. Yes, Elena.
I think that one of the goals is to search for an agreement.
Yes. So we are focused on an agreement, not in just to share and to be different from the others. For example, someone told about group focus group. In the focus group, the aim is different from a consensus method. Okay.
So, what is consensus methods? The consensus method search for agreement. So it's a systematic method to achieve agreement, to establish how well experts agree in a particular issue. And why? Because we think that accuracy and reliability can be best achieved when we consult a panel of experts and accepting the group consensus. So it's a method that is based in cooperation, okay? Because we do not have to abandon our point of view. We express our point of view, okay? And the group decision making is a cognitive process based in cooperation, okay? So why? Sorry, and when? Long time ago, after the Second World War, consensus methods have been used, for instance, for define war strategy. Okay, so that's where it begins. But now, in research and in the field of family research, as we search for a more comprehensive and multidisciplinary approach to the development of recommendations, this kind of consensus methods has been developed and used. So why? Because it overcomes disadvantages found in group decision making. Because in group decision making, some more influential people can manipulate the opinions of others. And in consensus methods, for instance, in Delphi, you participate in an anonymous forum. So your opinion, as Lucia said, is equal, you as a family or as a mother, as the expert or the academic, okay? When do you must use, or it's useful to use this kind of methods? When scientific evidence is limited, or their quality is questionable, or is uncertain or incomplete. And it can be used very frequently, for instance, to define protocols of practitioners in health settings, okay? So it can be used both in the process of development of clinical practice guidelines or expert positions. So, what do you want to achieve with consensus methods? the thing is, the group seeks the best solutions through discussion, exchange of views and opinions. It's not to vote against or in favor, because we want to reach an agreement through negotiation. And for that, maybe sometimes we have to develop the research in several steps until we reach an agreement. Also, we want to find solutions that are acceptable to all. Okay, it's not to being achieved through concessions. Okay, I give up for my opinion and you keep with yours. No, it's through negotiation and a solution that's acceptable for all. So many of these research methods have several steps, and the results are being presented all in those steps to the participants. Okay?
Okay, so now it's my turn. So you have here several methods that are consensus methods, and the three first ones are the most known and used ones. Okay. The last two ones are more used in some areas, but also are considered consensus methods. So the Delphi study, or the Delphi method, sorry for the Delphi study because we developed one, so I'm always speaking about this study. The method, it has several features. For example, as Cristina was saying, it was developed in the middle of the 50s, after the Second World War, and it was developed in the military sector. So they began to search and to understand what was the effect and impact that technology could have, for example, for warfare. So they developed a structure, they developed a process that then other areas find it very useful and apply to their fields, for example, health and political health issues. You can see lots of studies using in the beginning, but nowadays you have several areas, and social and families are also two areas where the Delphi method has been increasing levels of use. So it was introduced by an American RAND corporation, and this corporation is important because it developed also this third method by Dalkey Helmer in Russian. And they gave it the name Delphi because it was the Greek name Oracle of Delphi. They found it interesting to associate this name. And what they aimed it was to determine and to collect a range of particular matters of opinions and to test also questions and materials and resources in determined fields. And also to explore and try to achieve consensus in these topics that were discussed. So the process in this method, as Cristina was saying, and also in the morning, we also, I believe it was Lucia and Maria Jose who spoke about it. It's an anonymous process, so everyone participates in an anonymous way, and they can share equally their feedback in order to the topic in discussion. So. In the beginning, also nowadays, it's a method that is very used because with the computers and with online platforms, it's very easy, very effective, and very low cost to research. So, what is the process? And Cristina was telling that there is a structure. You find it here. So, it always begins with the formulation of a research problem. So, this is very important because this is going to guideline all the process. So we have the identification of a research problem. Then we have to select the panel of experts we want to use in the study. To develop a questionnaire or statements that we want the experts to analyze. We send them anonymously. We send them. And with a process that allows them to vote and to give their opinion in an anonymously format. And then we have several rounds that differ according to the level of consensus that is achieved. And in the end, when the consensus that researchers find useful is achieved, then we have a report, a final summarizing of the results that is developed. So, as I was saying before, the first step, it's very important and very relevant. It's the definition of the problem, and also, for example, you can have to develop a set of resources or informations to the experts in order to focus, to be more objective, and to define very well what is the problem, what is the matter, the subject that is the debate. So, in round one, the experts receive the material and they give their opinion, and then they can rank, they can agree or disagree, but also they can propose new items and can propose new ideas to become incorporated in the list. Well, one of the advantages of this method is, with this structure, you can have a number that's very variable in terms of participants. For example, you have studies with 4 participants, but also there is a study with more than 3,000 participants. It's an advantage. Yes. Yes, very much. So, but you can also find some studies where there is no initial questionnaire. So the first round, the first step of the Delphi study is precisely the development of a questionnaire, of a first instrument, not the initial information, but the first instrument of questionnaire to be analyzed then in the future rounds by the panel of experts. So between rounds, the research team will collect all the opinions and then will send reports with the level of consensus, and also ask new questions in regarding the agreement or disagreement of the group with the subject matter. Okay, so well, this can also take time. So you can, for example, have a Delphi where you have 2 rounds and the situation you have a level of consensus that is very good, that is achieved, but you can go to more than 10 rounds. And that is something that the researchers also have to contemplate when they are designing the research, okay? So, this is just a flash of each one, but if you need to know more or you get interested, we hope so, in the end you have several resources that you can consult. So, this is, the Delphi is very relevant in our field. We have several researchers research with this technique, but also the researchers begin to think that this does not answer to all the questions. And one of the disadvantages is that the group did not meet. And someone told before that one of the advantages of this type of methods is the fact that people can participate, they can discuss. So they create a domino group technique. And this So this technique was developed by Van den Ven and Delbecq in 1975. It's also, they developed creating a specific structure to be fulfilled, to be as a guideline, and they developed this technique, and this technique is different from Delphi because here, the group of experts, they meet face-to-face, even they don't need to meet presential. Nowadays with Zoom, for example, we can meet online, but the experts meet face-to-face with others to discuss, to debate the ideas. Also, as you see here, you also have a very specific and very structured process that is must be followed. One aspect that is different, of course, from Delphi. In Delphi can go from 4 to 3,000, but here it's not possible. So here, the dimension of the groups, it's 1 year, for example, for a focus group. So you have the orientation is between 5, because you must have also some variety in the experts in order to bring some complexity and some diversity also to the discussion. But the 12 is the number of the top, no more than this number. Okay, so also another difference from Delphi study is that this method is normally used to generate items. So, unlike the Delphi, information it's very relevant, but it does not need to be completed when we are developing this method. But we must it's not the first round, but one of the first stages of this method is to collect the ideas and the opinions of the experts in order to build, begin to build, for example, a questionnaire. So, what is the process that must be followed? Well, as the beginning, a research problem is always very important, and you also be very accurate in the panel of experts that you choose, that you invite to be part of this, because you don't have the same range as the Delphi study, so you have to be more precise and more specific. Yes. Yes. So participants here meet face-to-face, and they respond to the nominal question that the research team built in the first place. And this question also can be sent before the face-to-face meeting. So two people can collect more information, opinions, and to bring new ideas to the moment. The first moment, it's not a collective moment, it's an individual moment where each of the experts record their own ideas. They record the ideas items for the pool, and then the second is to, in a meeting with the other experts, to debate the items they bring, to justify why do they feel that item is relevant. So, unlike Delphi, it's not anonymous. The first stage you can be a little bit exposed, and they justify why they believe that idea could be relevant, and the others could also justify why does not, and why do they feel differently. So new ideas can be added at the moment, and they, for example, can begin to develop the main list of the topics, and it can be a process to a consensus. So in this process, there is a role that's very important. That's the facilitator. There is a person responsible to the mediation of the process that must have experience in order to help persons to participate, but at the same time help them to focus on the research problem and also to find the consensus. So this process can take, it's a little bit different from Delphi, so it can take from 1.5 hours, 1 hour and a half, imagine our lunch, for example, our lunch time, and in the end, it can take 1 day, for example, 6 hours of work, okay? But the idea is to manage through a period like this one, okay? There are, of course, some pros and cons with this technique. As you were saying in the beginning, of course, with this also everyone has the opportunity, like Delphi study, to make equal participation. And if the facilitator is very good, he can equilibrate if someone wants to have a more dominant participation, because the idea is to do not have dominant participants in the process. It's more small, tight, and controlling time, and that can be a very important pro. It can generate a very large number of ideas. Imagine you want to develop, for example, a new questionnaire. You can have this process, and it's based on potential and debate in the process. Regarding the cons, well, some can get a little bit frustrated with the process. Also, it's what like Cristina was saying, sometimes they can feel, okay, so you win, I'm not going to talk more, I'm tired and I want just this process to end. And sometimes, well, it depends also on the quality of the experts, because if you have good experts, you can have complex and very enriched debates. But also, if you don't select that well your participants, you can have a very small and quick process, but at the end, less rich and less complex, as you wish. Smaller number of participants, and if the facilitator does not control the group, it can have dominant participants in the way. So, the group of the RAND Corporation that were responsible for developing the method, the Delphi method, well, they, with these two type of techniques, then they create a mixed one. So, let's hope. So this is random CLA, and it refers as a hybrid for Delphi and Nomine's group technique, okay? This car is just a joke for the hybrid cars that nowadays we are trying to sustain. Yes. So this is the book. They develop a very structured, a very oriented process model, technique, sorry. And this is the process they create. So this is a mix between the Delphi study, the Delphi method, and the Nomine's group. Well, what happens is it was developed in the area of medicine in 2001, and they wanted to identify what were the medical and surgical procedures more effective in a determined field. So they don't give space to create. They develop, firstly, they develop a very concise research problem, very objective, and then they make a revision of the literature that allows them to gather the most important and relevant information toward the matter that is in debate. Okay? So, they develop first a questionnaire. That questionnaire is sent to the participants, to a panel of the experts, and then participants can receive this information and rate the level of adjustment and applicability of each item to the matters in discussion. So first they rate with the scale. This was the proposed one. So between 1 and 3, not appropriate. Between 4 and 6, uncertain, and between 7 and 9, appropriate. So of course, every items that have a medium rates below 3 were not acceptable, and they wanted to work always above the 7 points. Okay, so continue with the process. The second part, because it's a mix between the Delphi study and the nominal, they have a face-to-face discussion. So they individually rate the items, and then they meet with the colleagues. They have the ratings, the group ratings, and they discuss about the results. For example, imagine like Lucia when we're presenting in the morning the results of the study. We had we rate individually, and then in the end we had a group session where we have the results. We could have the results, we didn't have, but we could have the results, and then try to identify why did we rate 3, why did we rate 4, and the 1, what does it mean? And then this method also conceives the next stage as, again, individually. The experts can rate or re-rate the items according to the opinions they have after the discussion, and if the consensus is achieved, they can end with a report. If not, again, they can go to a group session and then justify why did they find that type of assessment in the items, okay? So that's why it's a mix. So, you have here a summary of these 3 first methods that are the most common. And you have there comparison, for example, if you try to organize an informal consensus meeting where you don't have the tightly structured process active. So you can see that there are differences between them. For example, the Delphi, they have the participants first answer to a questionnaire. But for example, the nominal, no, but the RAND, yes, in the first round, because that's the first ranking they made. We see that there is the possibility of private decisions collected anonymously. For example, in the nominees, in the second method, we can then re-rate the items after the first round. We can re-rate the items, and people also they give their first opinion anonymously and their opinion go to the pool. Well, and this is some features that could be relevant for our decisions to choose one or instead of another in our research. Okay. Well, because we are working in the family field, and there are other methods that also are beginning to be very used in our field. We wanted to explore these two ones: the conference consensus and the deliberative method. So the conference, as the name itself says, it's a method that is developed within the scenario of a conference. Okay, so it begins with National Institute of Health, when they wanted to assess and disseminate information regarding medical technology and research. The aim was to mutually accept a declaration, a consensus declaration regarding a specific topic, as the others. But here is the difference. The type of experts, they wanted to bring together representatives of different groups. So imagine, if we are in the scenario of a conference, we can reach the participants of that conference. So the participants can bring in this method. The participants can give their ideas, their proposals, and experts can bring their ideas to the pool. The process includes also a revision of the literature, because not only because the participants it's relevant to participants to have the relevant information, and this relevant information is given by the experts. And you can have then panel sessions where experts go, present their assumptions, and then discuss with the participants. They go to rounds of discussion in a more private group, and then again bring the ideas to the participants. It's like a validation. So this structure is a little bit different from the others. So this is the process. Of course, you have to begin with a research question. You have to have a very good idea and clear what are the participants. You have to have a panel of experts that are going to present the relevant information. You must create an agenda, and at the end, what do you want? What is the solution that you wish to achieve? And then you have panels and you have debate sessions that are going to be developed to achieve a consensus. For example, this is the scheme of consensus conference, and you see that you have first the presentation of the information, then the experts present their opinions, their research, for example, formulate the key questions, and then they plan how you're going to develop with the participants the consensus. So they present, they cross-examine with the feedback from the participants, and they go into the reformulate. And you see, this is not something that you can achieve, for example, like in nominal. In one day, it's something that you must plan in advance and to conceive several days to be more complex, to have a more enriched and complex process. Otherwise, it will be. But one very relevant aspect is that the participants of the conference can be citizens also. It's not just stakeholders or professionals. Yeah, in the last one, it's the deliberative dialogue. It's different from the conference because here they want to bring consensus among representatives of groups, of institutions, of communities. So it's also participative process, but it's a less open one. And it was not created by a person. It was created by several experiences that research were developed, and then the National Issues Forums and the Kittering Foundation begin to use in the United States. It aims to focus on building understanding and collective learning. And the difference is, it's like this is they wanted to build an agenda in order to implement it. So this is a process that aim to achieve consensus, but also aim to listen to the groups in order to build a project to implement and to make the changes in the field. So this is also a difference from the others that we were talking about. But also it can conceive face-to-face and anonymously collection of perspective, and it's a very participatory process. So what we have in the beginning, in the preparation, the researchers, the group of researchers also identified the question and what is the objective of the dialogue. What they do, they want the groups, the representatives to discuss. They also must be very careful regarding the choice of the panel of experts, because it's very relevant to all the process. So you can have stakeholders, you can have representation of associations involved. And after getting the process of building an agenda, discussing this agenda, getting this consensus in order to implement in the field, they also must be able to identify what do they design as short-term, medium-term, and long-term effects they wish to achieve. Okay, this is also a difference that's relevant. So again, we will give you this presentation. So you have several tables that can be very useful for you to understand and to differentiate the several methods. There are differences in the number of participants, in the process, but they are always structured, and this is very relevant. We have here, for example, what are in a green, what are the consensus between the methods, and what is common stages, and also what is the different, what differentiates these methods. Well, as always, you can have advantage and disadvantage in this type of methods. Of course, one of the advantages is, as everyone is participating, you can reduce some bias because when the experts and the participants give their opinion anonymously, it can help to control, for example, the dominant participants and so on. You can design and very well a panel of expertise in order to have diversity. So this could be very relevant to the process. It's very systematic. And for example, in the end, in terms of cost, there are, for example, the Delphi study, it's very relative and expensive. There are some disadvantages. For example, Delphi with 3,000 experts. So we have to have several rounds. So some experts you will lose in the process. So we have to be aware of this risk and perhaps try to design with a smaller group, but more effective one, because it's very relevant that the group in the end gets the same things. Somehow, some themes are more easy to get consensus than others, and that can be also something that has to be conceived initially. So what we want, a Delphi or a process with several rounds or just 3 or 4 rounds. So some of these are disadvantages are problems that can be identified to this type of methods. Another problem is like everyone is saying all the time. A bad method is better than no method at all. It's something that the researchers are always saying is that you must be very accurate with the method, because sometimes they make 2 systematic revisions and they identify several changes in the Delphi method. So if you are making changes, you are putting at risk the effectiveness of the method. So this is one of the awareness. Other is the type of participants and the facilitating process. So we also give you 5 practical strategies that you must be pay attention when you are deciding regarding a method. Which one is the best? So see the features of each one. See also your matter, your participants. What is your public? What is your aim? The question of developing an issue questionnaire. Is this your aim? Is this also something that you must be aware? So if you have one initial group of items or questionnaire, this is something that will lead you to some type of method. If not, for example, a nominal is more relevant. The participants must be well then identify the number of rounds and consensus that you want to achieve, and also to describe and to note every modifications that you make along the way. That's very important in the end to the report. So here we just leave you with 2 diagrams in order to make your decisions. And now
Thank
it's
you,
Cristina.
Katia. Well, now I will talk about a concrete example, the development of family support quality standards, a Delphi study, what we have done. Yeah, okay. So, what are the démarches that we developed? First, a literature review by the members of Working Package 1 from the Cost Innovators Grant, and experts on family support provision, quality standards, and workforce skills. After that, in face-to-face meetings, the members of Working Package 1 have discussion and elaborate a questionnaire domain item generation by them. That have take a long time because it's not an easy process. It's several levels of complexity. The third step was select the Delphi experts and send invitations to the candidates. And the panel expert was the Working Package 2 and the policy group, and I think some from the committee of evaluation also. I think, yeah. Total, also okay. After that, we define the number of rounds that we will proceed and what will be the consensus criteria that we were using. After that, preparing and distributing the questionnaires that I have. Thank you. So, this is the method. 46 experts with experience in family support provision, quality standards, and workforce skills. Yeah, national leaders.
Okay, I didn't understand.
Working Package 2, advisory panel, and national leaders. We defined 2 rounds, and the Working Package 1 have built 60, that's a mistake there, 68 indicators about 3 domains that this morning Maria Jose and Lucia talked about: practice system, provision system, and evidence system. And we asked these 46 experts to assess clarity in writing of these indicators, coherence between the indicator and the quality standard, and relevance of the item to the quality standard using a 4-point scale. So that was a very big questionnaire that experts should answer. And the consensus criteria we defined previously was at least 70% of the respondents have to be in the category 3 and 4, agree or totally agree. The mean above 3.5, the interquartile below 1, and the standard deviation below 1.5. So this is the example of the questionnaire we sent. Some information about the main aim of the studies and why we will ask that people to answer the questionnaire, consent agreement, and then you see for each quality standard, for instance, frame the services objective from the standpoint of rights and development needs of children, youth, and families. One indicator: the service takes into account the best interests of the child and respect the development needs of children and youth and their families when taking action. And then they have to evaluate for clarity, this indicator, for coherence with this quality standard, and relevance. Okay? So after we have received the answers online, we analyze the responses, and we analyze if the consensus was reached, and we generate the necessary information and have tabulated all the responses in graphics and tables. Also, we present the results to the participants in a face-to-face meeting of Working Package 1 and Working Package 2 in the meeting of Brussels. So, after that, we could prepare and distribute the next questionnaire to reach, and then the last analysis of the responses in the second round, and final discussing among the members of Working Package 1. So, in the first round, we obtained from the 46 experts we contact, 67% have participated from 18 countries. That's not bad. This average between 29 and 66 years, 25 women, 6 men, and an average of 23 years of professional experience. So we have made these tables and graphics that present in the meeting, and signalizing the criteria when was not fulfilled. Okay, in interquartile and mean. Okay. For clarity, for coherence, and relevance. So after we discuss and take into account all the observations and notes, the questionnaire were reduced and sent in a second round to the participants, okay? And then we have a less indicators. We have here the number. I think it was 29. Yeah, 29 items. It was more kind to the participants. And then we don't see anything. Well, that's not what was said to the participants, I swear. But you see all the indicators, and we present the mean, standard deviation, interquartile, and median, and only 2 indicators were in a mean slightly little above 3.5, and then we maintain all the indicators because we have into account the median also. So this is the example, and this is the final rules that are important when we build and develop a Delphi study. So thank you.
Thank you.